Hello, right now you're tuning in to Inside the Box Films. Thank you for joining. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you. So, today, what I want to talk about, what I want to discuss is my experience going into juvenile prison or juvenile jail, so to say, whatever you want to call it. Because who I am today is not who I once was. Back in the days, I used to do things that I wasn't supposed to do. Let's keep it at that. I was going down that wrong road. I wasn't on a righteous path searching for greater. I was being a product of my environment, which there is no excuse to doing that. But at the time I was choosing not to do the right things. And I tell this story because I want hopefully young youth and others that are just going down the wrong path. I hope they would learn from my mistakes. A smart person learns from their mistakes. A wise person learns from others' mistakes. So if you can learn from others' mistakes and be ahead of the game, do so. You saw that person go down that hole. Don't be the dummy and go down the same hole you just saw that person go down. So negative always leads to negative. If you're going down that wrong path, it'll lead to a wrong destination. They say the path to heaven is straight and narrow. Many few choose to go down that road, but it's the best road. It's like many of us choose to do wrong rather than right. It's just, hey, that's how things work. I can't explain it. I can't sit here and give you the science behind that. But that's just how humans work. So if you can be smart, be smart. And you can. It's just a matter of a decision, a choice. So I'm going to be sharing the person who I used to be. And, maybe you can understand more of what I've been through because I have been through it. The person I am today is a total different person than I was then. So I could definitely speak from experience when I'm talking about these things of the inside the box mentality. So without further ado, let me just get into my story. So once upon a time in the early 2000s, about 2003, 2004, is when I moved back to New York with my mother. This is the Bronx, New York. That's originally where I'm from. I had moved to Florida at maybe like 8 years old. Then I was back like 13 years old. At a young age, I was getting kicked out of schools. I was, getting kicked out of several schools, to be exact, and going to, school to school. And then I was in alternative school. And then, those that don't know what alternative schools is pretty much like going, you're right there before jail. Next stage is jail. Like they're giving you alternative. They're giving you an option to straighten up your act or go to jail. And so I was down that path already before I went to New York. So definitely when I went to New York, it just like elevated. It elevated my getting into trouble because those of you that's from New York know trouble is right there outside your door. Like it's not, you don't even got to go far to get into trouble. It's right there, especially when you from the ghetto community, especially when you from the ghetto, which that's where I'm from. I'm from the South Bronx, the projects. So lo and behold, I ended up catching 2 cases within the same week, both robberies. I'm not a robber, but I was around robbers, and one of them I actually like dared my cousin to rob somebody, and he actually did. So that's I'm gonna get into those stories briefly. The first one, I was with my boys, and we went down the block, and we ran into somebody that had like a coat. I guess it was a nice coat, and it was like a CD player. Back then, CD's player was, it was something. It had value to it. So my boys ended up jumping. I already did the time for this. This is so many years ago. It ain't like I'm snitching, I ain't saying no names either. But yeah, my boys ended up jumping. Well, it was one dude. They jumped him and ended up robbing him. He just so happened to go to my school. the same school I was in. So he ended up pointing me out the next day, like, oh, because they had like his jacket over his head and was beating him up. So when he got up, he saw me and several other dudes, and me and my right hand, my boy, was the only ones that he knew, which he went to school with. So that's why he ended up pointing us out. So lo and behold, I ended up going to, getting locked up. They released me right there, and I just got to go to court. And within a week, I ended up. It's crazy because I got sent to alternative school, another alternative school, and I ran into my cousin. They were saying like I was at the table, and they just so happened to be talking about somebody in the school, and it happened to be my cousin. He had already caught a case. He was in there. He was in alternative school already. He was supposed to be doing time. I don't know what happened that he ended up not doing time, right? So, make a long story short, he comes back to the alternative school that I'm at. And we like, yo, cuzzo, yo, I ain't see you in so long, Like, it was like, wow, we reunited because I ain't seen him in so long before. And then, wonderful way to reunite, right? So, yeah, so then we chilling, we hanging out, and we two peas in the pod. We looking for trouble, you know. So one day we skipping school, and we on the train, and there's a lady there with like a bleep phone, like a Nokia, and it's like a $400-500 phone, and $400-500 back then is like $1,000 today, probably more, with inflation. So pretty much like I ended up daring him to steal the phone. And I didn't really think he was gonna do it, but he ended up doing it. Um yeah, he ended up stealing the lady's phone right when the train doors open. He said, "Yo, excuse me, miss, what's the time?" And when she pulled out her phone to check the time, he like snatched it and ran. And he was gone. My cousin, we call him Turtle because he's kind of big, but it's crazy because he's the fastest turtle. I know that sounds stupid, but we literally call him the fastest turtle because he's fast. So, yeah, he's out. He's gone. He's nowhere to be found. So and the lady's like walking with me because she saw me talking to him. She knows I know him. So I'm just there walking with her. Stupid. I should have ran, but it is what it is. Everything happens for a reason. I was meant to go to jail that day. What I did was wrong. I'm not trying to laugh, like really make it a joke. What I did was wrong, and that's pretty much what I'm trying to, the message I'm trying to convey is, not to do wrong and get on the right path. So, yeah. She was walking with me like, "Oh, why did he do that? This, that." And then right as we going down the right as we're going down the stairs, a police officer just so happened to be right there. And she ended up saying, "Hey, him and somebody he knows just robbed me," and yeah, they locked me up. Um, so that was two cases in 1 week, So they definitely was like, "Oh no, we're not releasing you this time." And from there, I ended up doing 2 years in juvenile. I'm from New York, so it was Spofford at the time. No, matter of fact, it was Bridges. It just had changed to the name Bridges. So yeah, then make a long story short, from there, getting into a couple fights and nothing too crazy, but um I just remember being a little kid and like I'm 13 years old. I'm practically a little kid. As a 13-year-old, you're supposed to be running around playing manhunt, playing with your friends in the park, playing basketball, things of that nature. And I was sitting in jail, in the summer, and it's hot, and it's I'm just like, dang, I'm a bit stressed because I'm like, dang, I want to go, I want to go home. I want to go back home, and I just never ended up going home. I did wrong, and now I gotta pay the price. There's a price to pay. So from there, you end up going to prison, pyramids, which is like a holding facility. No, no, let me get into the story of, like, I had a lawyer, right? I had a pretty good lawyer, and it's crazy because it was a paid lawyer and he was a really good lawyer, and he ended up going to the feds. He ended up going to the feds. He was down with the mob and stuff like that, so he ended up getting indicted by the feds. He was on the newspaper and everything, and I ended up like losing trial. I remember he was a real good lawyer, and when you got a real good lawyer, most likely you got a real good chance to beat your case. And I just remember we was on a good track of doing that, and then out of nowhere, it's how God works in mysterious ways, because it would seem good for me to get off that case and just, oh snap, I did something wrong, and I didn't have to pay the price. No, God actually, like, he made me pay for that, and it taught me a lesson. Maybe if I got off of that, I probably would have been doing worse stuff and get way more time. Because I think I'm above the law or whatnot. But make a long story short, um, yeah, and I just remember the next day we was like doing a little trial, and that's when pretty much like they ended up just like, I blew the trial, ended up getting 2 years, and yeah. From there, you go to pyramids, which is your holding facility until you go upstate, right? And this is where everything changes, right? This is where the story just takes a turn, because there's many different facilities, whether it be Tryon, Brookwood. I think there's a couple names. There's many different facilities because New York City has a lot of criminals, so there's many different facilities that it has. There's so many different facilities, right? And I say that to say this, because there was this one particular facility that nobody wanted to go to. Nobody. Because it was a boot camp. They cut your hair. I'm bald now, but they cut your hair. I had long hair. For those that know me, back in the days, I had long hair, real long hair. And then, that was one of the reasons I definitely didn't want to go. Another reason is that they have you doing physical training. It's just real strict. The boot camp, it's like jail. It's like the army. They yelling in your face. One of the sergeants used to poke me in my chest. Call me Johnny Hard Rock. He was like, "Oh, you think you a little Johnny Hard Rock from the Bronx, don't you?" And then like poke me in my chest, try to get me to, like riled up and do something wrong. But and what that facility taught me was discipline. You know, it might seem like a bad thing. It was a blessing in disguise as like a curse, because I hated it there, especially at the beginning. Like they just like I'm used to just doing whatever I want, and this dude is just yelling at me, like super close to my ear, yelling at me, got spit on my face, coming, like you can't even understand what this dude is saying, especially the first time it happened. When the first time it happened, I just went like red and black. I didn't see much. Like I kind of like, I don't know. I don't know how to really explain it. It's just got I just got like, I don't know, like when you get mad and you like, it's like tunnel vision. It was kind of like that. And I just remember him saying, "Drop your bag." And then whenever I didn't whatchamacallit, say yes sir before anything, he would just be like, "Ah," and just like be on my neck, like pretty much on my neck, literally. So make a long story short, that wasn't a fun experience. Um that was pretty scary. They sprayed me with Lysol, like it was super cold. They put cold water on me, sprayed me with Lysol. They Lysol on my head right before they cut it. And it's like they pretty much strip you of like who you think you are, in a sense, like they pretty much bring you down to nothing and then build you up. That's pretty much what like the army does. It's like they like there's units, right? It was like unit 1, unit 2, unit 3, and unit 4. Each one is is pretty much like elevating to the next level, and then also you get a little bit more freedom each one that you get to. So being in unit 1 is like they ain't no freedom. They on your neck all day. So yeah, cold. Oh man, they used to wake me up like 5 in the morning. Bang the what you would call it, the trash can with the the metal thing. Da, 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 super loud. I'm like, oh snap! I never got up that early in my life, and I was just like, oh man, super cold. These guys yelling. It just had me in a kind of like a depression, because it's like, oh man, like this is hell. Pretty much it was hell. Like yeah, it was hell. So pretty like what I wanna like really get from that is, and then I really like got disciplined, because they really had us doing like PT, physical training, and it was pretty much like no excuses, like you're gonna do this. I remember, and you're gonna do it right. And I mean, it's crazy because I remember one time when I first got there, I was messing up like the count. You had to do like jumping jacks in unison with them, like, and I was like kind of like too slow or too fast, messing up I wasn't in coordination. And then the sergeant stopped the whole thing, and he walked slowly to me, and he said in my ear, he said, "Yo, sonny boy, you're gonna have a lot more to worry about than PT if you don't get in unison." And I'm like, whoa, like that sounds kind of crazy. And I'm up here with, I'm pretty much by myself, and I'm 13 years old, even though I was like a little bit, cut up, but nowhere near what a man, this man was a grown man, with already been in the army and such. I mean, I'm gonna do what I gotta do to defend myself, but that wasn't a fight I wanted to to happen, So yeah. Then yeah, I was just trying to give you some insight, pretty much, of like how the my experience was there. But it pretty much like was was a lesson. It was pretty much like treating you like teaching you discipline. I think after all them years, not in that time what I think them, but I think them after, and many years down the line, because it taught me a lot of discipline. It taught me to not make excuses. Like it's about, and it's about. They used to say, I got this from boot camp, and it's a saying trying is planning to fail. So there's no such thing as trying. Like if you saying you're gonna try, you pretty much say yourself a failure, because you can make it happen. Anything in life you can make it happen. Like before, like I got there, I wasn't doing many push-ups. I could do some, but like there's no way. Like the boot camp made me push my limits. Know that I could push my limits, to be disciplined. I used to be there in PT, but when I first got there, I couldn't do much. But there was a point in time, like I got so disciplined in my mind that I was like even like outlasting everybody in the physical training. Like they used to have us do push-ups, the whole nine, and then like hold it. And then I used to just hold it. I used to just go through the pain, and I used to just go through it like, oh man, like not give up. No matter what you go through, that's what that taught me. Like no matter what you go through, do not give up. Like no matter how much that holding it in that position was hurting me, I wasn't giving up, because that's perseverance. That's getting through that struggle, and that's one of the things the boot camp taught me. That there really is no excuses, like I said before. I tell these stories because I want you to learn from my mistakes. A smart man learns from their mistakes. I'm a smart man, right? I learn from my mistakes. You're going to even be a wise man. You're going to be better than me. You're going to be a wise man, because you're going to listen to my mistakes and then not go through them. Like, oh, Gabriel went down that wrong path. Look what happened to him. I'm not gonna go down that path. I'm gonna save myself some heartache and stress. So yeah, that's what that taught me. It really taught me to not make excuses in life and strive for greater. You know, I remember they used to have like four like paragraphs. Each thing had a paragraph, and I think the first one was like self discipline, self worth, teamwork. Um, there was another one I can't remember all, but I just remember one of the lines being, "I control my own destiny," and that's why I want each and every one of you guys to understand that you control your own destiny. Can no one take your success from you? You can only take yourself out of success. You can only steer yourself the wrong way if you listen to the negatives, you know? Whether it be in your own mind and others' minds and what they're telling you that you can't do this, you can't do that. Faith comes by hearing and hearing and hearing. If you hear it long enough, you're going to end up believing that. So also be aware of your circle, who you surround yourself around. Even though you're from the projects or whatever, it doesn't mean you have to be around people that is doing the wrong thing. There's other places, there's other friends, there's other ways of other sources and other options to ultimately put you on that right path. There's never a shortage of options. There's just a shortage of thinking. We can only set our limitations. And I want you guys to really acknowledge that you are in control of your own destiny. You don't have to succumb or to conform to the patterns that people around you are doing. Like the saying says, if your friend jumps over a bridge, are you gonna jump over a bridge too? And that's what many people do. They jump off the bridge just because other people are doing it. And it's sad because why not have a beautiful life? Why not have a better life, where you don't gotta look over your shoulder. You don't have to, wonder if you're going to jail today or not, because it's the inevitable. Whoever really gets away from doing wrong, it's gonna get you one way or another. So, but really, what I want to say is the easy route leads to a rough road. The easy path leads to a rough road. When you choose the easy path, that's when it's gonna be the rough path. Choose the hard path, and it'll be a smoother ride. It's like if you can withstand that struggle in the beginning, you will the harder the battle, the sweeter the victory. So but if it's an easy battle, then how much you think that victory is gonna be? It's not gonna be that sweet. Although it's not easy, it's well worth it. The joy wouldn't feel so good if it wasn't for the pain. Never give up to the temptations of trying to get a fast dollar, trying to do things the easy way. There's no such thing as cutting corners. Make sure you grind and do what you have to do in order to be successful in a legit way, not in a way that sends you to jail and prison for many years. Because look at that. If you do a crime, right, and you get a couple dollars or however much that money is, it isn't gonna equal up to the wages that you would if you would just work even a regular job. Because let's say you make however amount of money, right? Let's say that do the math of how much you done made, and then do the math and start dividing the time that you did in jail, away from your family 24/7 for years, days, do that math, and then you tell me how much you made an hour. It isn't going to be much. We sometimes convince ourselves that we're doing, the right thing or doing it the smart way, but it's actually the dumb way. I just hope everybody can learn from others' mistakes and don't make the same ones and make a good life for yourself. That's pretty much what I'm trying to say. Don't make your life harder than what it already is. So hopefully I went through what I went through in hopes that it'll be a testimony for someone else to learn before it's too late and actually not make the same mistakes, because those mistakes were costly, Did some years in jail, went to Rikers Island. I was headed down the wrong path until I came across my father who, helped me out, like helped me out in a huge way to get on the right path, to not have to go back to those places, to not have to worry about, going to jail again, or, being killed, or being, or going to jail for a long time. That's no way to live life, Being there 24/7, nothing to do. Your life is just wasting away. Your family's missing you. Your children is missing you. It's funny, everybody want to talk about their jail stories. Oh, I was the man. Was you really the man? Because your family needs you. Being a man is providing and being there for your family. Your kids, your wife, your lady, whoever the case may be, your mother, that's being a man. You not the man if you running that facility. You a fool. So choose not to be a fool, and make sure you don't think inside the box. Think outside the box and get on that righteous path. I hope this helps somebody. God bless you guys. Thank you.